Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome to another morning stream. Today, there are a lot of things to talk about once again. What's Grayscale going to do? What's Robinhood going to do? But I do know this, as Bitcoin holders, we need to get ready for what's next. So, let's talk about what to anticipate this week and later this month. Let's do it. Welcome, guys. Bitcoin is starting out the day around 63.6. It actually went up as high as almost 66 this morning. And then it started coming down. Because I think due to Robinhood or SEC. But before I get to that, the US market is looking like it wants to move green today. That's good because last week we ended Friday with a big green day, even though it didn't make much sense. Treasury yield fell because jobless claims went up, unemployment went up, and that's not good for the economy. But it's good for inflation, so to speak, and that's why markets started rallying. And today we're seeing more of that rally, right? So I guess that's good because when the market rallies, when the money starts flowing, that's very, very, very good for everything, including Bitcoin. And you know what? Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett, they're just like stockpiling on cash right now, right? Actually, it came out that Berkshire Hathaway now has about 189 billion. And he doesn't know what he's going to do with that money. He thinks it's good to build a cash position right now, right? Despite everything that's going on, which could be a good move. But people are urging him, like Elon, urging him to take a position in Tesla, which may happen, but probably not because Warren Buffett is heavily invested in another EV company called BYD, which goes against Elon, and Tesla's kind of losing to right now. So I don't think that's going to happen. Or something else that will probably never happen in his lifetime is maybe you go put that into Bitcoin. Michael Saylor says Bitcoin is hope for Berkshire Hathaway. 189 billion. Can you imagine 189 billion dollars just being put on Coinbase and you have a $189 million buy on a spot market? What that would do? That would be absolutely crazy. That would be craziness. Again, less chance of that than Berkshire investing in Tesla, but one can wish, and maybe whoever takes over afterwards will have a different opinion about Bitcoin. It's unfortunate. Anyways, moving past this, what else is going on, right? Grayscale. Grayscale started out the day good, and this is important because for the first time in Grayscale Bitcoin ETF history, we had an inflow. I made a big deal about this in my Sunday walk video yesterday, which I actually posted on the main channel. Usually on the CRU Plus, but I want to see how it do on the main channel. But this was one of the big things I'm looking forward to this week. If Grayscale is not outflowing this week and starts inflowing with the rest of the ETFs, watch out. Get ready because this week will be absolutely fantastic. Grayscale has led the selling for 3 months almost, 2.5 months. Selling anywhere from 20 to 30 million, all the way up to $500, $600 million per day. Okay, and even recently, a few days, selling over $100 million. Now, if that stops, and we're getting inflows of $100 million every single day, that is going to help Bitcoin short term a lot, right? And that's what we want. We want more inflows than outflows. So this is another thing to look forward to this week. It's too early to tell. Grayscale shares are up still, right? So we'll have to see how it goes, right? But it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all now that we're seeing a reversal on Grayscale possibly just starting to inflow finally, that we start seeing some real pressure on the buy side build up. I mean, if you think about $100 million being sold every single day for like basically 77 days, that's a lot. That's a lot of selling pressure. And if you just remove that, guess what? That's go help the buy side tremendously. Okay, so we have that to look forward to also. Okay, now what else is there? Something else from a macro perspective. I should have like moved to this when I talked about bonds and all that stuff. But in the U.S. though, you know, we have the M2 money supply, which unfortunately is turning upwards again. This will also help Bitcoin in the long run. Because whenever money starts flowing, you know, that means people are using that money to do something with, right? And a lot of people do put that money into investments like Bitcoin. But you could see for about a year and a half, the M2 money supply actually went down, which is actually a good thing because look at how much it has gone up since 2020 and 2021. And it started coming back down in 2022 and 2023 looked good. And now we're going back up. And why this is good for Bitcoin and bad for everything else like inflation? Well, because where's the money coming from? Why is the supply so high, right? It's generally because the US government is printing money, right? And we don't want to see that because printing money dilutes the existing supply and causes inflation to go up. But it's good for Bitcoin because if you're holding hard assets like Bitcoin, or you could argue real estate or anything else or gold, it's good because inflation is causing the price to go up. But nothing has ever outperformed Bitcoin, so Bitcoin is the best one to hold. However, if you look at this, you'll see that every time M2 money supply goes upwards in a big way, what happens? Bitcoin pumps up to a new high. It's almost like it's correlated, one-to-one correlation. And you can see when the M2 money supply goes down, that's usually a signal for Bitcoin's bottom. So if it is going to start going up again, well, that's going to be fantastic for Bitcoin. Another reason why we need to get ready, because if this happens, inflation will start getting out of control once again and drive things to the moon. And that includes Bitcoin, right? So this is positive as well. Very, very positive indeed. All right, what else is there? Well, I did see this. This is a little bit of fun, but I don't think this is going to make a big dent today. This just came out about 40 minutes ago or an hour ago that the SEC may be suing Robinhood. Okay, the SEC likes to send Wells notice to like everyone. And basically, it's the stupidest thing if you think about it. Basically, if you get a Wells notice, it's saying, okay, we may or may not sue you. And there's nothing you could do about it. We're not asking for more information. We're not asking you to stop anything. We're just giving you a warning that we may sue you. That, for my interpretation, that's what a Wells notice is. So as a company, when Coinbase got their Wells notice, they're like, okay, tell us what to do. What can we do to stop? No answer. And then like what, a year later to get sued. Uniswap recently got one. They don't know what the hell to do, right? And then now Robinhood gets one. So, you know, this is the exact reason why Consensus, representing Ethereum, is suing the SEC. Because it's a stupid practice. It's like you can't even do anything about it. It's like, I don't know. It's like the police department sending you a letter saying, hey, we may issue you a ticket. End of letter. No explanation why. And there's nothing you could do about it. Basically, that's how I'm interpreting it. And, you know, this caused some fun today. Caused some fun. And we know Robinhood doesn't like lawsuits. They generally just give in really, really easily, unlike Coinbase or unlike anyone else that's been fighting, they tend to give in. Hopefully they don't just give in to whatever SEC wants, but they probably don't even know what SEC wants at this point, right? Robinhood doesn't even sell that much crypto. But we'll see. But despite this FUD, okay, I don't think it's going to stop Bitcoin. It's not going to stop Bitcoin at all. In fact, if you look at the charts, okay, actually pretty bullish too. So this week could actually be very good. And not only this week, this entire month. And I'm going to show you why. First of all, from a TA perspective, you're looking at short term. We just had something happen, this bullish engulfing pattern. And you could see every time, almost every single time, except one time back in August of 2023. But outside of that, all the other times when we had a pretty good dip, okay, we have dips, 20% dips happen all the time. Whenever we have those dips, the bottoming, I guess, indicator is when you have this engulfing pattern. And we did have a dip. We had a 23% dip. And we just had a pretty good recovery after that. So that's a pretty good sign that a reversal has happened. Okay, that's short term. Short term. What about long term? Well, if we go out a little bit longer, we know that we just had a halving event, okay? And if you look at one of the previous halving events, this current cycle right now mimics the 2016 halving event way more than the 2020, because 2020 was just really screwy because of the pandemic stuff. But if you look at 2016, we had the same thing happen, okay? We had a little bit of a pump before the halving event, and then we had a pretty drastic dump after the halving event. Then we had to wait months before we start going upwards. So if you look at what's happening now this year, it's kind of the same things, except it's at a much smaller scale because Bitcoin is so much stronger. The volatility has shrunk drastically. Okay, so yeah, we kind of had the same thing. We had like a pre-pump before the halving event. We came back down about at 23%, right? And now what's going to happen next is, I think, is going to mimic what happened in 2016. We may have, I've been talking about this, we may go sideways for a little bit, maybe a month or two, maybe even all the way at 4 or 5 months. I don't even think we have to wait 4 or 5 months. I think probably just a few months. And then, what comes next is the parabolic phase. We're in that already. We're already in that phase. Just hasn't hit yet, but we're in that phase. Here's something else that's very interesting. And I know you guys seen charts like this before. Every halving event, what happens afterwards, we start going up, right? But the first monthly candle after every halving event has been green. Some of them substantial. The 2013 was substantial. The 2021 was substantial. And of course, this is the month after the halving event, right? So I think based on history, not just this week, this month alone will be very good for Bitcoin. Remember, April was bad, yes. The prior 7 months, we had green. We had 7 consecutive green months leading up to April, and we had a red April. But now that we got that over with, we can have another 7 months of green. Maybe slow, or maybe not, but based on history, at the very least, this month should be green, and it could be substantial, especially considering what we went through last month, so we could just completely wipe that out this month, okay? So that is also very, very positive. And the last thing I'll say about Bitcoin is this. The 200-day moving average, okay, has surpassed 50,000 for first time, basically all-time high. Whenever the 200-day moving average, which takes a long time to move because it's a 200-day moving average, it's averaging more than half of a year at a time, right? So despite the volatility, this shows you that, yeah, we are higher. In fact, we're higher than a 200-day moving average in 2021. So even though right now we're a little bit off from our previous high. We're not that far off. And all it takes is a little bit. Maybe Warren Buffett does put a little bit of 189 billion into Bitcoin. All it takes is just a little bit to send us higher. And considering that we're in the parabolic phase, we're after the halving event, Grayscale may be turning positive, and pending inflation woes, once again, all of these things will send Bitcoin higher. That's why get ready for what's next. All right, so that's what I want to say about Bitcoin. As for others, let's see. Something else that could be positive. I don't know if this is positive for the industry or even positive for Ripple at all. I saw this. David Schwartz was doing some kind of interview, and he was asked when Ripple will launch their stablecoin. Okay. And their CTO, David Schwartz, hinted that there's an Apex event in Amsterdam and that more will be announced then. So it does seem like, or maybe they're going to launch it during the Apex event. So that's coming up in June. That's next month, right? Quite honestly, my opinion is XRP should have always been a stablecoin. Okay, it's just that stablecoins didn't exist when Ripple and XRP ledger was created. It should have been a stablecoin. It makes more sense to be a bridge currency between different fiats to use a stablecoin, right? So the thing is, this sounds like it's very positive. You know why? Number one is Ripple will probably make billions upon billions of dollars by issuing this, kind of like Tether. Tether is just making money, like printing money literally hand over fist because of Tether. I don't know if Ripple's their stablecoin, maybe RUSD or something, will be as popular, but they will make billions from this, which is good. That's good for Ripple, right? However, I don't know if this is good for XRP, because I'm thinking there will be all the financial institutions, and I say all, and I don't know how many that is, maybe like one, because there's not a lot of institutions that actually use XRP. But the ones that do, they'll probably just switch over to stablecoin. They're not going to buy XRP anymore. So I actually think this may be hurting XRP even more long term, unless Ripple converts XRP ledger somehow into like a smart contracts L1. I know they're moving in that direction already. They've put out a lot of grants, but unless they do that hardcore and make a big emphasis on bringing dApp makers on top of XRP ledger, I think this is actually going to make it worse for XRP. Everyone's just going to be using the new stablecoin. But Ripple doesn't really care because they're going to make billions from this. Billions upon billions upon billions. That's my opinion. I guess we'll see after this is announced and gets rolling. All right, what else is there? Memecoins. According to Crypto Croyo research, CoinMarketCap registered 138 new meme coins, setting a record high. While April 2023, there were only 18. Well, yeah, of course. We don't need this to tell us that, okay? And there was a lot more that came out in April. It's just that CMC didn't register all of them. Probably like 1,000 more, okay? There's no doubt about it. Most of them rugs, but still. Memes will lead this cycle from the retail side. There's no doubt about it. Zero doubt about it. Retail will FOMO into memes. Memes will continue to be hot and grow. And altcoin season may happen after the memes top out. That's the funny thing and scary thing, okay? Bitcoin is going to top out when the institutions finally say they had enough. And maybe they don't ever say that, but I think Bitcoin is definitely led by the institutions. But on the alt side, you know, everyone that's coming in, they're FOMO into memes. And now you're seeing exchanges list more and more memes, way more than they ever did before, because they know retail, they're just looking at the latest memes. They're not even looking at, oh, should I put money in Cosmos or Polygon or any the big L1s. They're just looking at putting money into memes. And memes, I think, will continue to go higher and higher and higher. And one day, when there's a top for memes, that money's going to come out. And then people will start putting that into the great L1s and other projects. I think that's how it's going to go. I think that's when altcoin season will start. All right. That is it. Let's do some Q&A. Oh, you guys just missed some gems right there. I just listed out like 5 alts that's go do a 10x this week. But I'm not going to repeat myself because I don't want to do that. All right. Let me scroll up here. Tesla losing to BYD. There's zero substance behind that comment. No. Go do some research, man. China, I mean, all their EV brands are growing like crazy. Tesla is not doing well. BYD is growing by leaps and bounds. Their quarterly numbers, their sales numbers, everything is going upwards. Tesla is losing ground to BYD hardcore. The biggest fear Elon has is when BYD starts expanding outside of China into Europe and finally in the US. I don't know if it's ever going to expand to the US, but it will expand to Europe. And once that happens, it's going to wipe out the Tesla market in Europe. All right. Jose, next leg up will be the craziest. I think so. This parabolic phase, once it starts going, man, it's going to blow people's socks off. I don't know if people still say that. Yeah, I'm really struggling. As for Tesla, really struggling. Because I could pick up my Cybertruck, but I really don't want to get it anymore. And I was hoping that the public opinion would change my mind, but all of you guys, like 75% of you guys, are saying don't get the Cybertruck. So it's really bad press. I think it's going to be, based on just the initial comments, I think it's going to be a big flop for Tesla. You know, Tesla just concentrating on like, you know, updating the S or the X, you know, rather than coming out of the Cybertruck, they'd probably be a lot better shape now. Will Big Red recover to its launch price? I'll say yes. Your deposit is sunk cost. You know, the thing is, I had a chance. So my original $1,000 was refundable. Then they said, do you want to order a Foundation Edition? If you do, then we'll go take your $1,000 and put it in, and then that will not be refundable. So now, like, I just have to lose that $1,000 unless they change their mind and they'll go give it back. But yeah, I just can't. I can't do it. Like, as much as I want the Cybertruck, I can't do it. There's just so many flaws to it. It looks cool as hell, but there's just way too many flaws, and I'm gonna lose tens of thousands of dollars through depreciation. Yeah. But it still just looks cool. I still think it looks cool though. Especially if you wrap it, it's gonna look sick, or fire as the kids would say. Does BYD have mega packs, Optimus, FSD, Powerwall? Each one could be $1 trillion industry. Okay, just calm down, okay? They have their own version of FSD. They have their supercar, and they're doing a lot of great things, which includes selling massive amount of cars. Powerwall's a joke, man. Powerwall's a huge joke. Do you know people that got a Cybertruck and they asked if you want to install a Powerwall, you know how much it costs? It's like $50,000 to just put in infrastructure to do a Powerwall. And those battery packs, if you're getting solar, if you buy those Tesla power packs, you will never make that money back. I've done the calculations. I even talked to solar companies. In fact, in my house, I have solar. Okay, with my solar panels, I can recover my initial investment back in about 5 to 7 years. If I buy a Powerwall, it pushes it up to like 50 years. It's like, it's so stupid to buy a Powerwall battery. It's so insanely stupid. You could buy a natural gas generator for like 1/3 the cost and never worry about running out of power if you really wanted that. And who cares about mega packs? Optimus, I'll say, is interesting, okay? But mega packs, all these other brands, they have their own. They're 4860 or 4890, that they're using a Cybertruck or whatever. The guy behind that quit, or he got fired because it's not even doing that well. It's not scaling well. There are so many inherent issues with Teslas. That's just my thoughts. Of course, the Tesla fanboys don't want to hear that. Even my best friend, who's the biggest Tesla guy, he's turned negative towards Tesla. All right, enough Tesla talk. Let's talk thoughts on Fat Singularity Ocean merging into ASI. I like it. I just don't know when it's going to happen. No one does. Nissan Titan with that Cummins engine, that was supposed to be one of the best engines. Turned out to be the worst engine that they ever created. Actually, it killed the Titan because of it. No one has a new Titan. And they got rid of that engine because it was so problematic. They just did not do well with that engine at all. Don't get on a Boeing plane. Isn't it funny how there's like only 2 plane manufacturers in the world, basically? Airbus and Boeing, and all the problems we hear about, like doors blowing open and stuff, and others, are all from Boeing planes. You never hear anything bad about Airbus planes. But it's just funny how the whole world just relies on only 2 manufacturers. Locksky, are we still bullish on Solana? I don't know about you. I am. I still maintain Solana's going to flip Ethereum. I think that's going to happen. Hey, Grayscale is still positive today. So we could have another inflow day. That could be good. Can you check out SCS on Solana for me? What is SCS? Soul Casino, I'm just going to say no right there. Casino coins is going to be very tricky. A lot of jurisdictions will go after them. And that's something I'm generally bullish on when it comes to crypto. BYD already in Norway. Tesla got to watch out. BYDs. Once upon a time, Elon laughed at BYD. And now he says they're the biggest competitor they have. Because they produce really good cars at a very cheap price. Gifted 5 memberships from Lock Ski. Thank you. What do you think about Jupiter? Jupiter is kind of like, Aerodrome. Although Aerodrome, I don't know what's wrong with Aerodrome. I can never use it. Every time I try to use it, it just like keeps circling. I don't know what's going on with Aerodrome. So anything that's on base, you can just use Uniswap basically. But Jupiter is by far the best DEX out there. It's fast. It's nice. It pulls everything from Radium and others. In fact, it has more monthly users than even Uniswap now. It's crazy how big they are. So my point is as Solana gets stronger, so will Jupiter. Will silver hit $1,000? Yes. Possibly even the end of this year. Don't get the truck, too many issues, one big headache. That's what I'm thinking. There are too many headaches. I didn't realize that. I read reviews recently, just kind of remind myself all the issues. Another big one is there's no visibility out back. I don't know why Tesla started doing this. They started shrinking the back window more and more and more, thinking that with the computer, with the big screen and everything, you just don't need to look out back like a truck. But 99% of the population still looks out back, right? But every single new car, Tesla just makes it even worse. So rear visibility is almost non-existent in the Cybertruck. So from what I read, you just close the tonneau cover and just pretend like there's no back window. That's not something I'm going to enjoy either. I don't know. Elon just has some wild ideas. Like, in his vision, the yoke steering wheel was a good idea. Horrible idea. I finally got used to it, but it's horrible. So now the engineers made the yoke steering wheel a complete, kind of like an oval steering wheel now on the Cybertruck, but still, just put a damn circular steering wheel. There's nothing wrong with it. So when I got my X, they forced it upon me that I had to get the yoke, but now standard is back to the regular. There's no reason. Just like the horn should be in the middle of the steering wheel. But no, they had to make the horn into a button. So every time I want to slam on the horn, it doesn't work, and I have to remember to press the button. Just like stuff like that. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. Sometimes, Elon has done a lot of great things. And he always thinks outside the box is great. But there are some things that just don't need to be changed. And unfortunately, he changed a lot of things that shouldn't be changed. What is the best meme coin to buy and may go up 1,000x in the bull run? If I knew that with 100% certainty, I'll be real. I wouldn't share it with you. I would just keep that to myself. And I'd just go all in on it. But because I don't know what's going to do 1,000x with certainty, I can't tell you that. There are a lot. You have to pay attention and see which ones are doing well. All right, good. We're back up to 64,000. If you had 100K and only could put into one meme or one alt to make the biggest profit, what are you choosing? No question, Solana. I wouldn't have to even think about it. If I only buy one outside of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin was an option, I'd put all into Bitcoin. But outside of Bitcoin, if I had to put in one, it would be Solana. It's crazy BTC went down on Robinhood Wells notice. Nah, temporary scare. You're not even going to remember it later. Why don't you get a customer steering wheel? You mean a custom steering wheel? Because I already paid enough money on that. I don't want to pay more money on that car. In fact, I can't even get rid of it. Like, I wouldn't think about selling my X or trading my X for the Cybertruck. Like, at least, you know, just to have one Tesla. I'll say this. It's nice to be able to just charge at home and not worry about going to a gas station with a Tesla. That is a nice feature. But I'd be losing like $70,000 by trading in my X. It's just so stupid. How high can ADA go? Pretty high, I guess. At least back to their previous high, which is around $3. And then afterwards, I think it could go another 2x probably. Something in terms of memes, I will say Pepe has become very strong. And I guess that makes sense. It actually doesn't make sense because I don't think Pepe's on Coinbase yet. But I will say this. Pepe has gotten really strong recently. It actually is outperforming even WIF and others. It's a little surprising. A little surprising. What is the point of memes? Number one, to make money. Number two is to bring more activity to the chain. And three, increase DEX volume. And four, probably the most important is community building, but no one really cares about that. But yeah, community building around a meme is very important because it helps an entire ecosystem. Just saw a Cybertruck hauling 1,800 pounds of drywall. That's not supposed to be impressive. A Cybertruck, like all full-size trucks, should have a payload at least 3,500 pounds, if not more, right? But supposedly a Cybertruck has lower than a 3,500 payload capacity. So that's actually bad. The range also sucks. It's supposed to have at least have 300 miles of range, but people that have done real world testing shows that it could get about only 220. So another thing that's bad about a Cybertruck. And it takes longer to charge because it has the biggest battery pack of any Tesla. Again, there's so many negatives about the Cybertruck. It looks cool. That's about the biggest positive. Everything else is such a big negative versus everything else that exists. So it's so hard to get behind the Cybertruck. Do not get a cyber crap. With a high volume rug, can memes be detrimental to crypto long term? Yes. So, you know, as an investor, you got to be really careful. Okay, you can't just come in and FOMO into anything because these rugs are getting very sophisticated. These teams are getting very good at mimicking or manipulating, I should say, social media and charts and everything else. So I could see, yeah, it could be detrimental, but overall, I think it's more positive than negative as long as people are getting educated on what to look for. And chains are starting to do that. Chains are vetting some of their memes that are getting popular just to make sure that they're okay. Thoughts on another 20% dip before the next pump from our level? I don't think so. That would bring us into like the low 50s or high 40s. I don't see that happening. Cybertruck at FU money, it doesn't have to work as a museum piece, except it's not even FU money. Like the Foundation Edition I chose, there was a 20K markup. Otherwise, it'd be an 80K truck. So it's not really, I mean, considering some of the trucks out there, many are in the 80 range plus. But a Foundation Edition, they give you like some benefits. That's supposed to justify the 20K markup. But it's really a way to just skip the line and get a first. Matt Shui. Sorry, I can't say that. I talked to Mercedes CEO here in Germany. Clearly stated they're not worried about Tesla at all. Only BYD viewed as a real competitor. Yeah, I've never seen a BYD car before, so I can't say that. But just reading about their like quarterly, their earnings, their sales, their expansion plans, everything about them, it makes them seem like a really good car company. Should I buy now or wait a few days? Maybe a dip. There was a dip, man. We were just at 56, 58, 60 for like the entire week. This is what always happens. I tell you guys, hey, you know what? It's a pretty good time to DCA. Even if we go lower, I mean, we already went down 24%. Good time to DCA. Now we're up. You're asking if you should DCA. You had the entire week to buy lower than where we are. So I don't know what to tell you. Can you do analysis of poo, please? I mean, no. It's a meme. There's not much to do analysis on. Good recovery back up. Let's see if we could go back and have this kind of like... Let's get a green candle that shoots us back up. Yeah, I think this week is going to be good, guys. I think we're going to be really good. All right. So get ready for what's next. There are a lot of great things, like I said today, and even more. Okay, so stay strong. Have a good day. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And make sure you smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight. All right. Bye-bye.